All right, so we did something a little unprecedented, and we did a few attempts at the same night, to no avail. But we're gonna go in for another one, and see how we do. So Bear, I thought we had pretty solid weapons and heroes that time around, but maybe I was wrong. We also on our first two nights had split attention, in the sense that we had him coming from two directions every time, which might have hurt us a little bit. Because I don't think that's always the case. So let's see what our characters look like. So we have Salim, who is a knight, love knight, great perk, wise, bunch of mana, and one-armed, no left hand. Does that mean you can't use two-handeds, or can't use offhands? Either way, that's a funky one. I'm not sure I'm super excited about that. The helmet here is gonna go, and the fur pants may go. Our next character is Danielle, who is a cook, hate cook, wise, and corrupt. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough, Bear, to be sure. This token looks good for a melee character. I like the short bow. It's pretty decent. Those boots, those pants, can I think... I'll just swap those. I like having crit on this character. But I really don't like their... Danielle has bad abilities. And then we have Carrier, Swift, and Discreet, which is pretty bad. I don't like the loss of XP right off the bat, but this is better than the armor, I think, early on. I'll put the pants there. Put the health there. Move the damage to our ranged character. Put the dodgy helmet on you and the nasal helm on you. So I think, Rusty, that's one of the things that Red Hook has mentioned they're planning to address with the next update, is more roguelike elements. Now, one thing I can't help but notice is our melee has 59 mana, and our range character has 60 mana. So that might prove useful. But I guess we just have to see how this goes and hope that the answer is marginally well. All right. Let's not dilly-dally too long and see. We have kind of a bad setup with these sensors, and of course the bulk of the baddies are going to come right in to exactly this spot. But that's okay. Now, we can't go too deep because we only have 2 movement points left. I guess we can kind of blockade this, though. Yeah, Stefan. Have a good night. Thank you for swinging by. And I hope you managed to get some R&R, rest and recuperation. It was great to see you. So if I stand here, I'm only going to get hit by 1, which is pretty good. Oh, I don't love the Tome of Shadows as an opening weapon, because its action economy kind of stinks. Like, it's very hard to use up everything. Alright, so I guess we'll do that. I'm just going to defend up here, and then I think we just put damage in on this dude. Alright. Oh, I did not expect that to come in that way. I tried to conserve so that I would have a lot of options there, but that didn't seem to work terribly well. And then I guess we lightning here. That lightning felt unimpactful and very expensive. Okay. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like all I'm getting is 4 no matter where I look. So let's just... I do like that those shield bearer dudes are pretty squishy. I don't like that they're getting a bit of a surround on my melee, but... I'm gonna punch this guy to death, it seems. And then we'll retreat a bit. And then I guess I need to retreat a bit further here. That's 5 and 5. Okay, so... Yeah, I felt like... So, I'm reserving judgment on Eratus at this point. I have yet to complete my first run, so I don't want to speak too soon. And I'm still playing on the most trivial difficulty. The things that give me pause or concern about Eratus is I do think that there's a lot of complexity. How did they get so close? How did they surround me there? I really didn't think they were going to. How curious. I guess it was sensor badness that caused that. Yeah, so I tend to feel like Eratus has a insane amount of complexity. It's very, very high on complexity, and not always in a way that I'm like that complexity is really rewarding. That's my concern about it. Is that I really enjoy complexity when it builds towards a system that is that's interesting. And so far, I've not been blown away by that with Eratus. Oh, really? Did it? Did the last biome on the easiest difficulty was Ruination? Because I haven't gotten there yet, and I'm wondering if it will happen to me as well. I feel like I have a strong crew, but you know, you don't really know until until you know. Yeah, and the RNG is, you know, a pro and con. Like I am very supportive of Red Hook's decision to make Darkest Dungeon 2 a little less a little less RNG-ish. The axe just, it feels bad when you're not hacking through 3 baddies. It just feels a little flat. But yeah, I find Eratus to be quite a different game. And I think thematically there are aspects of it that I am excited to explore more, and some that I'm not super overwhelmingly positive about. I think the stress and insanity system for, you know, like you inflicting stress on the heroes is a cool system. Like I enjoy that idea, but I find it very it feels unimpactful. Like I don't when I hit hard with stress attacks, or even when I hit hard with any attacks, I just find it kind of doesn't have the same impact. And to me, that's really important in a game. Like there have been moments in Darkest Dungeon 2 or in Darkest Dungeon 1, I mean, where I just kind of like, I had something happen and I could feel like the impact of the action. You know, like I'm holding my breath, waiting for something positive or negative to happen. And I really enjoy that. Yeah, so I'm gonna wait and see. I think that the proof will be in the pudding if I can start to see the enemy combos. You know, because that's the thing that I'm looking for in Eratus, or not the enemy combos, but kind of the friendly combos. Actually, if I were to go exactly the reverse of what I just said, you know, the way that the characters synergize is very important to me. And so far, I've been less than blown away by the way that synergy feels. You know, how characters move together. I don't really fully understand the character identity either, I think is one of the challenges that I'm facing. So this will bounce between all of you. I don't think that's really worth it. Feels like there are a lot of baddies out here at the moment. Okay, we don't have any back protection, so I don't think there's any value in not moving our axe person back a notch or two. That just feels bad. I don't really have anything else that I can do, so I guess... Well, they're not going to do those two aren't going to do very much damage. But at the moment, I'm just kind of looking at the mana and feeling like I'm... feeling like I'm spending a lot of mana. Okay, move you there, and then I despise the... That just feels bad. But yeah, I don't... The thing that I'm going to be very interested to see, Rusty, is if the final zone just obliterates me. I don't know if that's going to be exciting and I'm going to be like, ooh, this is awesome. Or if that's going to be more frustrating for me. Yeah, so I've kind of seen that one coming a little bit, Bear. Like, you know, it seems to me that at some point it's gonna the game is going to hinge heavily on looking at who you're about to encounter and then doing your best to tailor your party to be able to deal damage and things like that. At the moment, I don't have, like, it's been very hard for me to determine, oh, okay, well, this is, you know, these ones are very, very susceptible to sanity damaging attacks, and these ones are, you know, very susceptible to this kind of attack, which I think that's one of the challenges that Erratus has, is that the UI is not as communicative as I would like it to be around certain things. Like, it's not easy for me to know who has a big sanity bar versus a little sanity bar, which sounds like a silly thing, but, like, the only way that you find out whose sanity bar is which is to mouse over a character and then look at what they have going on. And that's a very onerous process, and a lot of the things that are very important to making the game kind of shine are a bit disguised or hidden away from the player. And that has been perhaps the biggest challenge that I've faced. Now, I could spend a bunch of mana on these guys, but I don't really want to, so I think I'm just gonna see what I can do with the good old Book of Shadows. Ooh, it's not very much. That's what we just learned. Yeah, so I've seen the Darkest Dungeon milestones on their Twitter. And, you know, you have to remember that that isn't the end of development, right? At least not in my experience. That is their roadmap to 1.0, which is not their roadmap to the kind of the end of time. You know, they'll keep developing it as they go. So I'm feeling pretty bullish. I think that I'm trying to remember where I mentioned this previously, but I think that the biggest challenge right now from like a replayability perspective that Darkest Dungeon 2 faces is the fact that you can't put multiple of the same hero on a single squad. Whoa, I think I just got an audio skip there. That was interesting. So right, yes, I am getting exactly that. That's interesting. Hopefully that doesn't keep up. But yeah, so you can't have, say, 2 lepers or 4 lepers on your team, and that means that the actual party comps that are available to you are substantially less dynamic. Right, like you have many less permutations to work with, and I think that is very challenging. And they're going to need to add a lot more variance to make that work. And I'm not sure exactly how that is going to look. Now let's see. All right, we have some type of sound glitch that I think is new to the new patch. That or it's the ways in which I mean, I restarted the game since then, but since I had my audio issue, but maybe it's me. Oh, but that's really annoying. I'm gonna body block a bit here. Oh yeah, audio is just cutting out. Okay. That's all good. This guy's not going to do much damage, so we'll be good. Yeah, that last game we had really exceptional offerings from the night rewards too. That's going to be hard to let's see. Someone is going to need to come over here and just punch this. But yeah, I think that's what's going to be so interesting about Darkest Dungeon 2 is going to be they're making a very distinct game, right? It's going to be very different. Yeah, I'm trying to think who needs the most love. I think the Occultist needs a lot of love. Yeah, I noticed that too, Bear. Just on the previous run. What's your essence sitting at? Because I imagine you've played more than I have, I presume. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have more time played and more worthless essence collection under my belt. 665K? Is that how I am meant to interpret that? Or you have 665 total essence? That would be far more impressive. If you manage to down Apocalypse 5 and let's see, okay, I can go down and do those 2 centers, and you hadn't even gotten all the unlocks, that would be incredible. No, I don't think you're a slow learner. I think you're ahead of the game. And I hope that by the time I hit 665K essence, I will similarly be as wise in the ways of this game as you are. Let's see. I think one power shot could have taken that out, so better safe than sorry. Let's see, any trees that I've missed blowing up? There's a tree over here that I probably should have gotten. So I think Rusty, and I would have to kind of go back and look at my YouTube videos. Ooh, careful. Oops, that was almost too much mustard. But I'd have to go back and look. But I think I've beat the game with every character. Not every character combination, mind you, but every character I have taken to the end at this point. And beaten the chains. Now, you know, I recognize that with so many more chapters to come, there's going to be a lot more, you know, like, oh yeah, but you need fill in the blank skill, or you need, you know, or this is particularly effective, etc. But right now, I'm not too strongly of the opinion that any class is unworkable. Which I think is, to Red Hook's credit, there are just so many disparate power levels is the real challenge. Like the leper is so strong. Let's see, and then this one, yeah, that one's all done. So we can run over to here. And have you done all your things? Yeah. The leper is insanely strong. The jester is, I mean, for lack of a better description, the jester is just kind of required because they're the only passable stress healer. I disagree strongly, Rusty. I think you sell yourself short. But all I was trying to get at with that observation is that I think they are all playable. I think that some of them are much, much stronger than others. And I would like to see the power level increased on some of our mutual favorites, like the Grave Robber. Which I will say, the Grave Robber was similarly weak in Darkest Dungeon 1, is my recollection. And then I wanted to kill this tree over here. So if I just... Oh, you can't... Oh, that's interesting. This tree is actually surrounded, so you can't get to it with a melee character. Yeah, I just feel like like, if Grave Robber had a bit more synergy, like, we'd have a very different situation. But so far, the Grave Robber feels very squishy, much like the Darkest Dungeon 1 Grave Robber felt. Darkest Dungeon 1 Grave Robber always, to me, felt dangerously teetering on the edge of death, because basically nothing benefits a character more than being able to take a hit, right? The least tanky character is always going to have a pretty big disadvantage, simply because they can so easily die. And so you can offset that in a couple ways, right? The way that I normally think that you should do that is with kind of a glass cannon type of situation, right? You say, okay, this character is a glass cannon. We're going to offset that by making them have some of the highest damage in the game. But right now, it kind of feels like one of the highest damage dealers in the game is the Leper, who also conveniently is the most tanky, is the most survivable, has the most self-healing. So I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what the remedy is, but it's very important to me that some of the classes feel more viable, given the fact that we have so few permutations, you know? I want to be able to see an interesting quirk on any character and find a way to make that character work. And right now, oftentimes it feels like the quirks are not the difference makers. So I guess to put it a different way, it would be really nice if a Grave Robber with a positive quirk was better than a Leper with a mediocre quirk. And right now that hasn't quite actualized that way. Like, I think the Leper does well with even with, say, bad quirks. And yeah, we need more diverse healer options. Like, as I think the Occultist is basically unplayable in its current form as a healer. Like, Rid Reconstitution used to be a bit of a meme, but now with the new way that, like, they lock skills so you can't heal when certain things are above or below certain levels, etc., Rid Reconstitution feels like you don't get to use it until you're in trouble, and then when you're in trouble you use it, and it's very punishing. Yeah, and I think as they add more content, that's naturally going to come. I don't have any reason to believe that we're not gonna see a lot more variants come. But looking at the roadmap, the thing that stuck out to me is, I think it's just in this next phase. What was it that they listed? They listed more roguelite tweaks. which I think is going to be very interesting, right? So we're going to have more ways. They're going to have more ways for the game to feel varied. And I think that's very important. And I think that also on their roadmap is permanent hero upgrades, which I think is potentially going to be very interesting. Because one thing that I can see happening with permanent hero upgrades is you can start to develop a build over the run, right? So you can be like, I want to invest in the Grave Robber, and if I get certain, say, permanent improvements, then the Grave Robber becomes very effective. So, you know, I think that that could play out well. All right, so unlike our last run, we have the advantage of they're all coming from one side again. So we don't have to split our focus between two sides, which is good. Let's see how our night reward treats us. We want weapons. A pistol +2 with range damage on it is interesting. A journeyman's magic orb. I like the magic orb more, but the pistol +2, 85 to 103. It's just so good. I don't think we can say no to the pistol. Even though a pistol is far from my ideal weapon. Now I want to check something. This is a weird thing to check, but I just want to see. Can you wield a two-handed weapon? You can't wield a two-handed weapon at all. Holy cow. Being one-armed is unsurprisingly a problem. Big crit bump is going to be good here. All things being equal, I want some physical damage. No, Rusty. I love talking about this stuff. It's always, from my perspective, it's really enjoyable to have something to kind of stream of consciousness talk about while I am. Okay. Health regen isn't that bad. While I'm playing around, we'll pick up Avid Learner and back protection. Yeah, Knight is interesting, but one-armed... Also, being one-armed I don't think generally makes you better at dodging, so... We'll take the action point for sure. We'll take the crit. And then we'll take the accuracy, and we'll take none of those. Take the crit power. Big crit power bump is nice. We'll take that and steady aim. Okay. Let's pick up the big experience bump and the damage bump. And then I'm going to skip Avid Learner and go with Crit Master Thrifty here. Okay, so this is where we have the difficult decision. The difficult decision being, do we try the same strat as last time? I guess either way, I like doing the early house expansion. Getting to 4, picking up the extra money, and then I'm all about investing in more house early. Now, if we do a 3, we get 48 gold back. You know, I have always believed that you need to wear your failures on your sleeve, because if you don't, you're the only person you're letting down is yourself, because well, and you're also, you know, not doing any favors to anyone else. Dang, that charm is beautiful. But I'm really, if this rusty dagger wasn't so trash, I'd probably pick it up. Because we need a one-handed weapon for our for everybody. At the moment, the only person who has 2 weapons is our ranged person. All right. That just blew up our game sound. That's nice. I'm losing it here. So it's telling me there's an app update, which so I'm still here, but we've lost game sounds. Yeah, you were seeing that action point on the turtle charm, right? It's very tempting, but I don't think we have the ability to I don't think we have the ability to take the extra action point here. And we've definitely lost game sounds. Now here, can I return to main menu? Your progress will be saved. Okay, let's do that. Hold on one moment. Technical difficulties are continuing. Gotta love it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, it's doubly unfortunate. All right, nothing is playing well at the moment. Let's see if we get back game sound here. I think I heard a click. Please. No. Oh, criminy.